It's time to get spooky.
What did you think about this OVA for My Hero Academia? Leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you shortly. Whilst you're there, be sure to like, subscribe, click the bell and do all the YouTube stuff that YouTube wants to do, because YouTube is an increasingly scary place for small content creators. Support your local small content creator today, it will do them a power of good. Now on to the review. With Halloween just around the corner, I wanted to celebrate with the closest thing that My Hero Academia has to a Halloween special. So here we are. The next season is still several months away and I still want to cover this show as best as I can do, bearing in mind that we're in a bit of a dry patch at the moment. And even though I will be covering Doctor Who related content for the next few weeks or so, as the new season is set to actually come back on Halloween itself, you'll still be getting your My Hero Academia content from me every Saturday going forward. It's just that this week I'm doing an OVA because, you know, it's seasonally appropriate, and I will be resuming my playthrough of My Heroes One's Justice next week. With all that said and done, I just want to say that it has been a colossal faff to just try and get a copy of this OVA, and I have to say, in the end, I think it was worth it. I won't lie, I enjoyed this episode from almost start to finish, even though I'll admit I was expecting a little bit more from it, but we'll get onto that bit shortly. We'll start off with the good stuff first because, you know, I have a lot of good things to say about this OVA. I have to say that I really did love the opening stuff with Froppy and her family. It was just wonderfully fun and wholesome in a way that I didn't expect this program to really be able to do so. And that's not a slight against this program, it's just that it's not really done anything quite like this before. And as anyone that's been watching my content related to My Hero Academia for quite a while will know, I am a sucker for the slice of life stuff in this program, and it is really wonderful to see more of it. Sure, it might not be the grandest piece of character drama ever, sure it might not be raising the stakes or giving us some insight into a villain or another, it's just great, wholesome fun for what it is. It gives us a great insight into Froppy as a character and the kind of things that motivated her to become a hero in the first place, as well as underscore more about her quirk and how it affects her as a person. We have this great little moment, we have that girl in her school saying about how she kind of finds Froppy to be a little bit weird because she can't really tell what her expressions are because she doesn't really seem to be able to emote and express herself properly, doesn't Froppy, because, you know, of her frog quirk, and it kind of gives you this feeling that maybe Froppy didn't have that many friends when she was growing up, at least not in high school that she was in. Note that we only really see her being friends with Mongoose. There's only that one picture of the two of them together, so there's a distinct possibility that Froppy might not have had any real friends before meeting Mongoose and not before coming to UA, which itself is kind of tragic in a way, and I kind of wish that we saw a little bit more of that. But for what we did get, like I said, it's wholesome, it's cute, it's fun, and I do wish we saw more of it, but for what we get is great fun. And I have to say that I did enjoy the joint training stuff quite a bit. And just me saying the words joint training probably sent a chill of fear down the spines of many people who have seen the past recent season. But I have to say that I did enjoy it quite a lot. I thought that the cast from this other school that came to visit were really cool. They had some neat character designs. Yeah, they were kind of a little bit of a mirrored version of Class 1A, but they were fun for what they were, and I really enjoyed the fight sequences that they were involved with, as well as just the fight sequences in general this program. They were incredibly well animated, had a great flow to them. And of course, unlike the joint training stuff that we had in this past season, it was just very focused and a lot more digestible and a lot shorter, and arguably it's something that the joint training stuff of this past season probably should have been. And I have to say that the main event, the zombie stuff, was, I'd hate to say it again, but a hell of a lot of fun. Even if Mineta ruined it by being Mineta, but you know what, that's fine, we'll accept him because it's a Halloween miracle. I'm feeling a little bit more generous than usual. I did like the fact that the guy that did the zombie stuff was called Romero. Yeah, it wasn't the most subtle of references, it was kind of a little bit to me, but you know what, I'll accept it because I'm in a good mood. And I did like the fact that the zombies were created using a gas, because that feels like a reference to the trioxin gas from Return of the Living Dead, which, yeah, Romero didn't do. It's a bit of a mixing of the laws, but it's another fun reference to a zombie movie that I utterly love, and I think it's my favourite zombie movie ever. So, as far as I'm concerned, by the end of this episode, I was happy as a clam, and getting great little character moments, some fun action stuff, and references to horror movies and horror directors that I really do love. But with that said, that's not to say there wasn't any negatives with this episode. And I just want to underline this point here and now. I did love this short. It's just that it has problems. I have to say that if we get down to brass tacks, I think this OVA, and I'm going to be calling it an episode, so whatever, I think this OVA was a little bit too congested as far as the different storylines that were taking place. If we just boil stuff down, we have 3 distinct storylines going here. We have the Froppy stuff at the start of the episode, we have the training stuff in the middle of the episode, and then we have the zombie parody stuff. Each one of these things could quite easily be a whole episode all of its own. Hell, the training stuff itself was a whole arc only a few weeks ago, but whatever. The zombie parody stuff itself was a hell of a lot of fun, like I keep saying, but personally, I kind of wish that it had been the focus of the episode, if not the sole focus of the episode. It didn't need to be grim or graphic or really that scary. I just felt there needed to be more of it. It needed to play with the tropes a lot more. Maybe the fact that the zombies are created from a gas is a reference to Return of the Living Dead. Maybe there is a lot more at play here. If there is, I would like to see even more of it, because it feels like a missed opportunity to just have this big, gonzo, crazy Halloween special with these characters. And maybe it's just because I'm coming at this from a very different perspective from many of the people that are watching this, because, as I said in the past, I'm not really an anime person. I've spent the past 15, nearly 17 years not really caring much about anime, pretty much leaving it alone around the time that I realised Dragon Ball GT was crap, and hasn't really touched it since then. So coming to here, all I've ever seen from Halloween specials has been stuff where the horror, quote-unquote, horror element has been a lot more of the focus of it, a lot more of the meat and potatoes of the flow of events. And it's done these really fun parodies of it, and I can think of dozens of them right now. There's a Halloween special of Recess, which is about werewolves. There's a Halloween special of Hey Arnold that's about aliens. There's a whole bunch of different Halloween specials that I can refer to of other animated shows that do this stuff, I think, in a lot more of a focused way, in a lot more of a way that really drills down into the horror stuff. And I really wish this had been more of the focus of it rather than splitting stuff about, because what we get is really good. And in this episode, even beyond just the fun zombie stuff, the zombies are something of a mechanism to just kind of roast and playfully haze our characters, just boiling down their character quirks and their character traits into kind of parodies of themselves. Like, you got Mineta still being a lecherous pervert, you still got Bakugo being really angry at times, you know, you got these characters still acting like they do, but in a very boiled down way of themselves, and I really wish they'd done more with that, I truly do. And you could easily take this soft zombie quirk stuff and you could make a more serious story out of it. You could make a whole episode out of it. And maybe one day I'll do a what if around it. But from what we get, yet again, I have to say it didn't really feel like there was enough of it. And even just beyond this, I feel that the structure of the episode really doesn't work. Now, you can easily pair the training and zombie stuff into being its own thing. So really you've got these two very distinct, two very separate storyline bits going on. You got the zombie training stuff in the second half, and you got the Froppy stuff at the head of the episode, the start of the episode, the opening half of it. And in the wider context of this episode, the Froppy stuff feels really weird to me. It's an opening that sets up and almost suggests that she's going to be the focus for the whole episode. And failing that, she's going to be the hero in the end. She's going to be one that's going to solve all of this. And she isn't. And I know that this is an adaptation. This Froppy stuff is an adaptation of a short from one of the manga issues. And I really do dig it. I think it's great. I just feel that it should have been its own separate thing, its own episode, or its own separate OVA, because putting it here, it doesn't work. Because again, you think, oh, she's going to be the hero, she's going to be the focus, she's going to be the one that solves it, and she isn't. There is, of course, that fun little moment where Mongoose comes up to her and there's a case of, oh, she recognises her and true love's going to save the day, and then she gets bit, and that's a fun moment, and I just wish there had been more moments like that in addition to that. Like, if you're not going to do a Froppy focus episode or OVA, then just play around with her as a character, because you've just spent all this time at the start of the episode setting her up. Or you have more moments like this with you playing around the tropes and traditions of zombie stuff again. And we have a serious problem with this episode, which is the fact that our zombie problem is solved off screen. Bakugo is the one that solved the problem, but we don't see him solving the problem. It all happens behind this ice barricade. And whilst I did find the moment with them all locked up in the cave, and I think Mina saying to Midoriya, "Hey, you know a lot about zombie movies. How does this stuff end? How do they solve them? How solve everything?" And Midoriya just saying, "Well, you know, I've seen a lot of zombie movies, and they don't generally end well." I thought that's a fun little bit. You could play around a lot more with that, but they didn't. And once I did like the thing of Midoriya punching through the barricade and knocking everyone back, and they're just like, "Oh no, I'm falling off the cliff," and that bit being fun. I just wish we'd have seen the bit where Bakugo fighting the zombie Romero guy, because that would have been fun. Sure, it probably would have extended the length of the episode, but not by that much. Like, it has a great fun sense to it, this episode, but it feels like it could have been a little bit more than it was. Now, again, I don't want to suggest to anyone I hated the show, because I really didn't. It was great fun. I loved it. I like lighter stories like this, and I wish there was more of them within the main show itself. That we had more of these little one-off adventures that were maybe an episode or two long, and maybe if we had episodes and stories like this, we wouldn't need whole storylines like the joint training stuff to act as our palate cleansers between heavier seasons. Maybe, maybe not, but I feel that there was a lot missing from this OVA that could have been in it to really take it to the next level. I love it. I have to say I did love it, and I think overall it's a very solid short. But I feel that at the end it was a little bit too split between two very different storylines. They could have quite easily done a thing where Froppy saves the day against the zombies. They could have done a thing where it's a Froppy-focused story or a zombie-focused story. Mix the two of them, but they don't feel mixed. They don't feel woven. They just feel like two very separate things in the end, and that takes away from my enjoyment of it. Still, like I say, I think that it's great for what it is, and maybe now it's going to end up entering the rotation of Halloween specials that I watch every year. Maybe it will do, maybe it won't, but it's a great fun adventure for what it is, and I highly recommend anyone that wants to see it to track it out, if you can do, because, as I said earlier on, it's a pain in the arse to find a copy of it. It really is, but in the end, you'll watch it, and you'll enjoy it for what it is, and in the end, for what it is, it's great fun. But what do you think about this OVA? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you shortly, either in the comments themselves or towards the end of a future relevant video. Next week, I will be resuming my playthrough of My Hero 1 Justice, and from here on out, you know, we're just going to be, like I say, still doing My Hero Academia related content every Saturday or close to it. I will be doing Doctor Who stuff in addition to this, so if that's not your bag, just wait until next Saturday and you'll see another My Hero Academia related thing. That's just the way it is, because I enjoy Doctor Who almost as much as My Hero Academia. Though maybe not recently, but that's a whole other discussion. Thank you all for watching, and happy Halloween! See you next time! Goodbye! Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, favourite, subscribe, click the bell, and do all the YouTubey stuff that YouTube wants you to do. Go on, it'll do me a power of good. Until next time, my friends, goodbye!